What's going on, people, and welcome back to my channel. I go by the name of Mr. Midas. Now, you could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you are with me and I appreciate that. Now, we are going to dig deep into the Shin Megami Tensei spin-off. We are talking about Persona, and I've been joined by a friend of mine who goes by the name of Matt from the Burnout Brighter podcast. You've heard me talk about him before, and we're gonna deep dive into the best Persona characters, story, lore, the whole shebang to find out what is the best Persona character ever. So let's do this. So I have the great Matt from the Burnout Brighter podcast, and we're gonna get straight into it. We're not here to play any games because we're here to talk about games. We are gonna talk about the Shin Megami Tensei spin-off Persona. Now, so many people love Persona, so we wanted to deep dive and find out who is the greatest Persona, waifus, confidence, main protags, all of that shebang. Now, I haven't played Persona 3. I've watched the anime, so I'm kind of aware of who the characters are and stuff, but I'm going to let you lead the front for this one. So Persona 3 was released in 2006. The Persona 3 is kind of a weird one because it was the real kind of change into what Persona is now, the kind of classical Persona that we're used to. That was like the first one in that. What did you think of the game when you first experienced it?
See, I love Persona 3. I played it right after Persona 4 Golden. I played Persona 4 Gold on the Vita, and I finished it, and I was like, I need more, and went right into Persona 3. Persona 3 is probably the darkest one out of the bunch. I think it's my favorite story out of the 3, 4, 5, kind of like the new trilogy. But the characters all kind of seem to deal with grief or death in some way, shape, or form. And I love that cast because they kind of throw them all together really quickly. While 4 and 5, it kind of takes a little bit to get them going. But 3, a lot of them already have personas. You kind of get to know them, their stories, by what happened to them instead of what's happening at the time. So I love the cast of 3. It's dark.
Yeah, it's probably the closest to the Shin Megami Tensei series, because the Shin Megami Tensei series is obviously a very dark one, and Persona's a lot more light-hearted, even though they deal with really dark topics. And I remember the first time I saw Persona 3, and I was like, oh my God, the way they call their personas are sick. Like, they just put a gun to their head and shoot, and then like blow out their brains to get their persona. Now, they could never remake that now in like a Western world, because it's a very dark subject, suicide anyway, which we're not even going to go down that road. But especially with how high the rates are in Japan. So but it's a really cool way, the way they call the personas. So the main protag's got a really cool look. He, for me, is probably the closest to like traditional JRPG protags. Tell me your thoughts on the main protag.
Yeah, I mean, like the male protag in Persona 3, like you said, pretty much exactly the brooding, kind of dark, stereotypical JRPG character. And like, yeah, they open up and stuff as they go, but like very much so kind of fits that archetype that was there before. And I mean, on Persona 3 Portable, where I played it, which was on the PSP and the Vita, you know, you actually got the first time in the series and the only time since the addition of the female protagonist, which gave a lot of people the agency to kind of play the game that they wanted to play. So I actually never played it as the female route. I do plan to go back, but yeah, that was the first time we actually got 2 protagonists. I'm not sure how different the female was, but the male, like you said, very much so that dark brooding character, and it really fit that game well, but that character wouldn't fit in 4 or 5 the same way.
100%. Well, I love the look of it. So who would be we won't spend too much time on Persona 3 because I want us to go ham in Persona 4 and 5. So just quickly, least favorite character and favorite character, and why?
I think my least favorite character in that game is Fuka, and she's fine. She's really kind of bland for me. She kind of gets introduced late, and she gets kind of that same Haru treatment that Haru got with Persona 5. She's brought in late. She's kind of just milk toast. There's not a lot going on with her. Obviously, as you dig into her, there's more, but she was probably my least one. While my favorite character in that game is definitely Mitsuru. She's like, you know, like the strong, bold, confident class president.
Redhead
the one
one.
who's like, the one who like guides you in and takes care of you, and like, you know, the leader of the group. She's dope. And like, as you get to know her, you get to see more of her vulnerabilities and stuff. I think she's probably the coolest character in that game.
Do you know what? I was confused. Is she an adult? Because she seemed a lot older, or was she just an older student than the other ones?
Yeah, her and Akihiko were like the senior classmen. Like they were the older ones. But obviously, JRPG things, they look way older than they actually are.
Yeah, 100%. All right, cool. So I know some of you lot are going to be like, no, you're not spending enough time on Persona 3. But we're not the lovers of Persona 3 like that. My first introduction to the Persona universe was, I was super lucky enough that Sony sent me a PlayStation Vita. So when online, I was like, what is the best RPGs on the Vita? And the number one game was Persona 4 Golden. I went to the store, it was on sale, downloaded it straight away. And I fell in love as soon as I saw the animation screen. Like Persona 4 Golden was so bright, it was vibrant, it was stylistic, like it was a really, really, really pretty game. And I was so gassed in these characters and the music and the stories. And I've been playing JRPGs all my life, but that JRPG hooked me like straight away.
So fast.
So fast. What was your first experience with Persona 4?
Yeah, I had the same thing actually as you. I picked it up on the Vita. I grabbed the Vita. I got like way on sale, and I kept looking into the same thing. I was like, I need my handheld. I need a good JRPG. Dove into Vita with the Persona 4 Golden. And man, as soon as you load that up, just like you said, like the TV screen pops up and starts to swivel around, the bright colors and everything. I was in. Like, I remember taking a road trip with my family that summer, and I was like playing it like under the covers. I get super motion sick, so I was like, Golden hooked me, and I don't think any game has ever grabbed me the same way. Like, it's still my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even be surprised because it is really good. Now, I really like the main Protag, or however you want to name him. I think they did a really easy Protag, as in, like, he wasn't over aggressive, he wasn't over the top, he even his style was quite simple, generic anime guy. Like, there's nothing about his style that super stood out, but the way he fought for his friends and the way that he just everything about him just worked. And today he's still my favorite Protag in the Persona series. What do you think about it, the main Protag?
I actually completely agree. He's actually my favorite Protag so far as well. He just kind of comes across with this like gentle confidence. Like, he's not, like you said, he's not over aggressive, he's not abrasive, he's very chill and kind of handles everything in the way that like he wants to protect his friends and he wants to protect his family, and everything about him is just kind of this easy confidence to him. And that's probably one of my favorite things about him.
So we get to meet some incredible characters. Naniko, his little cousin, is so adoring. Chie,
oh my god,
like Kenji, like so many. But I'm starting on the bad and then going to the good. Now, JRPGs usually have someone that kind of irk me within the thing, because they do like to kind of play to stereotypes. I know people are going to throw hate at me, and you're going to get even more mad at me because what I'm repping right now. But even though I'm repping him, I'm not even going to lie. Probably my least favorite in Persona 4 Golden was probably Teddy. At first, I thought he was quite adorable, but then he just started getting on my nerves. Like, I just found him OTT, and I just couldn't understand things in the story. Like, how did he just make a human body for himself? Like, it's just a bit mad. So Teddy was probably my least favorite. What was your thoughts of Teddy?
I actually really liked Teddy. I think he's actually my favorite out of the three kind of like costumed, you know, animalistic protagonists.
Yeah.
He definitely was grating at points. I'm not gonna lie. There were points where I was like, okay, Teddy, one more bear joke, and I'm kicking your ass right off this party. But like, he grew on me a lot, especially just because how much he just wanted to be. He didn't know what he was. He didn't know where he was going, but he just so deeply and so badly wanted to be a person or be whoever he was. He grew on me a lot, and he was probably one of my favorite characters by the end.
All right, so before you tell me who you love, I'm going to give us an honorable mention each, because Persona 4 Golden is so special. Like, I I find it really hard to define what game is more special to me out of Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 Royal. Like, I love both of these games for completely different reasons. But the music in Persona 4 Golden, it just hits different, my G. It just hits so different. And I feel like the characters in this game is just incredible on a whole different level. So we're gonna get into the waifu territory right now. Yeah.
Oh
no, wait. I'm gonna let you say yours and then we'll get into the waifu territory with my answer. So I'm gonna let you give me your honorable mention, someone that was really special to you in Persona 4 Golden. Who isn't your favorite, but super special?
I really love Kanji. He's probably my honorable mention. I do feel like, looking back at it now, like the way that some of his character stuff is handled is very much like this game came out, 12 years ago now, the original. So there are aspects of his story that I'm not entirely, like, they could have done it better. They could have been a little handle, the whole LGBTQ side of him in a way that was a little more, non-stereotypical. But as a character, and like his whole arc and his dealing with who he is and how to be who he wants to be and showing his inner self, like, I found it so powerful at the time, and I still think it, it does things well. I love Kanji. I just think he's such a cool character. The biker aesthetic with the leather jacket, just beating people in while also being like this super sensitive and caring character. Kanji's for sure my honorable mention. What about you?
I really love Kanji as well, and I love that Kanji, he is the voice of reason when it comes to his identity and like his sexual orientation and what he prefers. And I feel like everybody else is the stereotypical, but what are you? And he's like, I'm just me. I'm a person. That's who I am. So yeah, we're gonna get waifu in, yeah? Now, whenever I play like a Persona game, my first playthrough, I play straight lace, I choose one girlfriend, I date her, do my thing. And then my second playthrough, I'm the serial dater. I'm dating everyone. Everyone is my girl. But initially, I met this very pretty and shy young lady. She worked with her mom. She seemed to be really shy. Yes, you know where we're going with this. Yukiko, I loved her to death, and I thought she was so cool. And what I loved is, at first, I just thought maybe she was just a bit boring. Maybe she was just a bit boring. She was just a pretty face. But then when they brought out her proper nerdy style, like when she was laughing so much and she was laughing till she was snorting, and she just really brought out that silly side, and I was able to see a side of her that I never really did before. So initially she was my bae. I'm not gonna lie, I stepped out on her when someone else stepped in the picture.
Oh my god, man, we might have the same exact arc with this. Go on.
So at first, like, I was like, yeah, she's definitely gonna be bae, because Chie is the greatest, and I love Chie to death, but Chie is like the bestie. And then we get to a place and we start hearing this amazing music, and the music's already captured you as it is. And then we get to see this pop princess. She's pretty. She's amazing. She can sing. She's got personality. Yes, Reese is my number one character in Persona 4 Golden. But before I tell you why, you tell me yours.
You know what, man? That's so funny, because I actually had the exact same arc. Yukiko, for me, like my first playthrough, I was already dating her by the time Reese rolls around, and I was kind of like, ooh, a little bit of regret, but it's okay. Yukiko's cool. Her arc is awesome. Like that whole getting drunk when they go on their trip thing, and she gets like loud and like, she's giggling all over the place. Super adorable. She's a fantastic character. So my first playthrough was all Yukiko. But like you said, when that music comes in and those pop performances start up and Reese shows up, and it's like her confidence and her swagger, but also her vulnerability, like there's so much to her that's so cool, that I was kind of like, damn it. Maybe if I waited a little longer, I would have switched over to Reese. But yeah, my second playthrough, I was like, all right, I'm going to wait. I know where I'm going with this. I'm going to wait. So I actually had the exact same arc as you, which is so funny.
Sick. So who's your number one favorite?
My number one, in Persona 4 Golden is definitely Rise. I think she's so cool. I think like the bits that we get of her in Persona 5, like with the poster and stuff, like she's such a cool character, and they do so much with her, you know, like, does she want to be a star? Does she not? And like, just, they take her on such an interesting route while also keeping her character intact along the way. Rise is by far the best in Persona 4 Golden for me. Same for you?
Yes, Reese all of the way. I love that she's confident. I love how on it she is with you, but I also love how vulnerable she is. Like when she's alone with you and you two are just spending time together, because around everyone she proceeds all of that confidence, and that's something that's really important to like someone like me. Like I'm a TV presenter, I'm loud, I'm big, I'm blah blah blah, but that's not your personality 24/7. You have that you're quiet and you have your vulnerabilities and stuff like that, which you don't always portray to the world. And so that's why you're my guy, you know.
Big agree.
That is why you are my guy.
Right. Yeah.
Big agreements. I love that. Now we have to talk about Persona 5, the greatest JRPG you've ever played. Now, they did this so smart because they was going from the PlayStation VR and the PS2 to the PS4. Now they didn't say, okay, let's just put out this game. They put a test bed. So they made a game called Catherine to kind of test out how the game would look, the style, and how the console worked. And it was the best thing they ever did because they gave us the most stylistic, pretty, like swaggeristic, like we got better graphics, we got even more characters, we came to Tokyo, so in Persona 4 Golden was in somewhere small, but now we're in big Tokyo. What was your first initial reaction playing Persona 5? We won't even say Persona 5 Royal, just Persona 5. What was your initial reaction playing that game for the first time?
Man, I remember the lead up to that game, and like the first time we saw those teasers with those just chairs on this red background, and I remember right before it came out, I was thinking like, man, I might be playing my new favorite game of all time in just a little bit. Like that anticipation was all over me. And hopping in for the first time, it's exactly like you said. The presentation, the menus, the sound, just everything about it, it just walked into the room knowing that it was the best thing there. And like, I couldn't get enough. Like I sat down the first time and I said to my partner, I said, you're not gonna see me this weekend because like, I'm pretty much not gonna sleep. Like I'm just gonna be planted there because it's Persona. And like, it just grabs you immediately. I think it probably has the best opening out of any of the Persona mainline games. Like it just grabs you right away and it just doesn't let go. Persona 5 is so special. So special. That's just the best way of discussing it. And like we've said throughout the whole time, the thing that makes Persona great, it's got the amazing music. It's got these really cool dungeons, super cool shadows. But the thing that really take you are these characters and being on a journey with them. And we're not talking just the main protags, we're talking about their confidants and people that they interact with on a day-to-day. So we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna start with our honorable shout out first, okay? We're gonna start off with our honorable shout out. So I'm giving my honorable shout out to Tamaki, the doctor. So she is the local doctor. She's like she's kind of a hot kind of goth girl, but she kind of comes in like, I don't care about anything, leave me alone, I'm just here to do some work. And she opens up in a way I never expected, and I really love her. I love her character design, I love how vulnerable she was, I love how they tried to break her over and over again and her spirit just wouldn't break. And I could have given 100 honorable mentions, but she just really connected with that. And I dated her in the second playthrough. First playthrough, I was loyal to one person. Second playthrough, dated everyone. So I dated her in the second playthrough, which was kind of cool to see her interactions with you dating. Who would be your honorable mention? My honorable mention for 5 is Futaba. I really do look at her as like the little sister. Like she's everything that she goes through from, what happened to her mother and like everything with Sojiro, and then her just trying to kind of integrate back into society. Like it hit me in a way that was like, man, like they're not shy about dealing with mental health, especially in a Persona game. But like Futaba was one of the closest things that's just like, social anxiety and dealing with a place that like you're not comfortable outside of your room. And I feel like so many people go through that, and they handle her arc in such a respectful way without ever making it into a joke, without ever just playing it up just to play it up. Like, I love her character, and she probably has my favorite palace in that entire game too. Futaba's definitely my honorable mention.
Futaba is sick. So she is basically the gamer. She's like super smart. She's the whiz kid. And it's funny because she comes in like so confident, and then you see that obviously she isn't. Now, we're going to talk about Joker really short. We're not going to talk about Joker for too long. But I like Joker, but I weren't crazy about it. I think Joker's a good Protag, but I still prefer you from the last. But I love the way in Persona 5 and Royal, how I love Joker's design as a Phantom Thief, more what Joker stood for. But him as a character, I liked him, like he was cool, but he would never sit in my favorite like Protags.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think his character design is super cool. And like you said, his Phantom Thief outfit looks sick. Like, he just looks like tuxedo mask, Sailor Moon, but if he looked like an edgy type of dude, right? He looks awesome. Him as a character, I think, fits Persona 5 because he also has that same kind of like swagger and confidence. But as you said, I prefer Yu's kind of more quiet confidence. He's there as as a leader of the team, while Joker is like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done. He's confident and he's cool, but like, he can be just like a little too swaggery for me. So I think he's great. He's just not my top.
And I'm the swagger guy, so it should connect, but it didn't even connect with me. Now, Matt, you're my brethren.
Yes.
I like you. You're my people. I'm gonna give you a choice, yeah? You can either give me another honorable mention, or you can give me the character that you like the least. Now, you can say both of them, but you're only allowed to talk about one.
Okay. Right? I'll give you my honorable mention. And for me, my honorable mention is Ryuji. I think he's just cool. He's a bro. My least favorite character, and I don't think this is that controversial or shocking, is Mishima. He's just so desperate all the time for attention, and he just so badly wants to be part of the Phantom Thieves, but like, he gets, too big on himself, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm the reason you're big. I made the fan site. He's the character for me that like, I appreciate him by the end. I think he does have a solid character arc, but him for me is kind of just like, man, you're way too much at times. So for me, Mishima is the one that kind of just like, I understand your point in the story. I understand you're there. I just don't like it. What about you?
I think he was super boring myself. I agree with you. I think he was super boring.
Like I said, I appreciate what they do with him. I just think that, like you said, he starts out strong, and then that entire middle area until he accepts who he is just a bit of a, like, every time he showed up, I'm like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah. I hardly even interacted with him. That's how bad it was. All right. My least favorite is Yusuke. Like, I just didn't connect with him at all. Like, I literally only used him if I needed ice power. That's how bad. But my honorable mention is crazy for me. Absolute crazy. Now, I'm going to do some spoilers for Persona 5 Royals. So if you haven't completed Persona 5 Royals, skip ahead just a bit and then continue listening to the chat. But Persona 5 Royal did some things really great. Now, in Persona, you meet Akechi. Now, I didn't think much of Akechi, and Akechi's reveal was kind of whatever, and it basically was like, But Akechi in Persona 5 Royal, when he really tapped into his I don't give a and I don't like you, it was so sick. Like, to have someone that's in your party who just doesn't care, and he was just going on militant with Joker. Like, the change of him just blew my mind. I just didn't see that coming. And especially, imagine I played Persona 5 and I've seen him go from him pretending he's a good guy to him revealing that he's a bad guy, and still kind of being like, yeah. But Persona 5 Royal, they doubled down in him being a bad guy, and he was pushing it in your face. He didn't care. He was like, you're a waste man, and I'm only here because I need you.
Yeah, his character arc, I think, like you said, in base 5, he follows that Adachi route. Like, he's obviously evil. There's no surprise there. Nobody's like, oh my God, is he actually going to be good? There's no confusion. But in 5 Royal, especially what they do with the last semester, they really dig into his character, and you just find out so much more about him, and it makes him so much more interesting because he's never like, I'm a good guy now. He's very much like the anti-hero in the story, working with them because he feels like he has to, not because he wants to. 5 Royal made him so much better.
Super sick. If we had this talk before we played, before Persona 5 Royal came out, he might have been on my worst. He might have been, or he would have been in my top 3 worst, and he's gone all the way up to my honorable mention. All right.
Yeah.
It's that time.
Let's do it.
Serious. Really serious. It's very difficult. There's loads of amazing characters, confidants, like people that make that game so important. But if you had to choose one person who is your favorite character in Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, who would it be and why?
For me, and the thing that kind of caught me off guard with Persona 5 Royal was Maruki, the psychologist, right? He's not in the base game. They bring him in to kind of act as, you know, the psychologist once things start happening at the school. He talks to all the Phantom themes to get to know each other. And my favorite thing about him, and spoilers for Persona 5 Royal, so if you're spoiler warning, take a couple steps forward. The arc that they take with him is exactly what I wanted Adachi to be, right? He never goes full evil. He's doing what he's doing because he genuinely thinks it's the right thing. You know, he says, and suffering, you know, take these away from people and people will be happy. And like everything they do with that 3rd semester is so interesting because they take all of the Phantom Thieves' lives, they take everybody's lives, and he makes them perfect. He makes them happy. And like them deciding to go against that because it's not actual reality, and his kind of fall to be like, I never wanted any of this, but I want to help people. He's such an interesting character. And like, for me, especially like, you know, with the background in psychology and like that being like my thing, his entire arc is so fascinating and he's such a cool character. So Maruki by far is my favorite character in Royal and in Persona 5 because he's so interesting, and he's like, he wants to do good and he thinks he's doing the right thing.
I think he may be, big statement coming from me, the best antagonist ever written.
He's so good.
Because the reason why I say that is bad guys are always bad. Like if you think of someone like Sephiroth becomes evil because he's trying to basically get revenge for his mum and stuff like that. Or Bowser is trying to kidnap Peach because, I don't know, he wants her as his bae. Like all of these antagonists are always there to destroy. And he's probably the first antagonist the whole game. All he was trying to do was good.
Yeah.
And the reason why his good wasn't good is because he was basically trying to take away human will, which is just bad mind. But he was literally trying to just make everyone live a perfect life and no one suffer.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to kill anyone. He wasn't trying to fight anyone. He wasn't trying to put people in bad scenarios. He literally was just like, I'm just trying to help everyone's life.
Yeah, and that's what makes him so compelling, right? We see plenty of antagonists that like they think they're doing the right thing, but like I mean, look at Thanos from Avengers. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but Maruki was one of the first times that I looked at him and I was like, I can actually see your argument, and you know, in a different light, I might think that you're right. But he's so compelling and he's so interesting because if you take away pain from people and let them live happily, sure, they will be happy, but it takes away who we are, right?
Yeah.
It's just, he's so good. He's so good.
So good. Very, very good. And yeah, I'll give you that one. But I'm going to keep it really simple. Like she captured my heart. I walked out the train station. The rain was hitting. I was standing on the side of the road. She removed her hoodie. She looked at me. Her hair flew in the wind. My heart started pulsating. And then she spoke to me. And I fell in love there and then because Ann is like my favorite character in Persona 5 and Royal. Now, Ann, most people would just be like, oh, you just like her because she's a waifu. I really love Ann's determination. Like she went through she went through a craziness with her best friend have been basically sexually assaulted by a teacher. This teacher trying to basically push himself on her, and really being that stereotypical pretty girl and having to fight everything, like fight for her best friend, like even the way she interacts with Mika, the other model rival who's just badding her up. Like I feel like she's always fighting. And when you date her, the way she really makes herself vulnerable for Joker, for Akira, is just incredible. And their connection for me just stays with me. And their connection stays with me so much. I was angry that when I played Strikers, she weren't still my girlfriend.
Yeah, I know. On was actually my waifu in that one too. She like the first time that I met her, I was like, all right, I'm in. And like you said, her entire character arc, like she's so interesting because she's really like the kind of moral epicenter of that entire team. Like, you know, Ryuji's all like, let's get famous. And like Makoto's like, we have to do the right thing, to like almost too far of an extent. Anna's always the one that's like, are we doing the right thing? Like, is this important? Is this the way that we should do things? So An is amazing. She's so cool.
Super, super cool. Well, we could talk about Persona all day long. Like when we stop recording, we're still gonna talk about Persona because we are Persona nerds like that. But I need to know exactly, who is your favorite Protag? Who is your favorite confidant? Like, who are your favorite characters in Personas? All of them. So let me know in the comments below and we will continue this chat. Now, make sure you go and follow Matt and the Burnout Brighter podcast. They are doing dope things. You can even see my face over there. Thank you so much for staying to the end. You are the MVPs. I've been Mr. Midas. He's been Matt, and we out. Peace.